What's going on? It's D-Man bringing to you some NBA 2K18 thoughts about the gameplay. If you don't know, I was out in California playing the game early. It was a feedback session. And first off, I want to give a shout out to the 2K devs and everybody else that was there because we had a good time. In my opinion, 2K18 was good. Of course, there's always pros and cons, but we'll get into that. Now, a few things I want to go over. One, this will be split up into, I don't even know how many parts. We have to talk about the offense, defense, AI. It's a bunch of things to talk about. I'll cover it all. I'll cover everything. Two, this is a beta, so things are subject to change. You know, I don't have to say much about that. The build that we played was kind of outdated, and so that goes without saying that things will be a little bit different. We'll see how that goes. Three, this video was not made as a hype video. It was not made to get you hype. It was not made to sell 2K18 to you. It was made to give gameplay feedback, share my thoughts with the gameplay of 2K18. So if you get hype, I mean join the club, low key, but just know that this video is strictly meant for gameplay feedback and to share my thoughts on the gameplay. So let's talk about the offense. Alright, so today we're talking about offense, and there is a long list that I want to talk about. It's funny because on Twitter, I said NBA 2K18 is a more polished NBA 2K17, and people got mad. They were a little bit upset. That's my bad. I kind of worded it wrong. I've been telling people this. Take NBA 2K17 and keep all the good parts, which 2K17, it did have good moments. It had some good things in the game. They were just overshadowed by the bad, which I know that's how it goes. But imagine this, NBA 2K18, the build we played took all the bad and annoying things about 2K17 and addressed them. They made a new system for it and it works. So let's go ahead and get into the shooting. Shooting was a bit problematic in NBA 2K17. It was tough for 2K to find that balance. Now let's start with the simple shot meter. There is a shot meter in NBA 2K18. It's different this year. In 2K17, the shot meter was on the ground. Now the shot meter is up near your shoulders and elbows. It's vertical, so you're looking at your release, and that's good because it feels more natural to look at your elbows and your wrists and your shoulders when you're shooting rather than your feet. I like that change in NBA 2K18, and yes, it is true. You can change the color of the shot meter. It could be white by default. It could be blue, red, magenta, team colors. You have a lot of options. One more thing to point out, everybody, you can applaud. There is no shot meter on the lay-ins. I know a lot of people hated that. I was kind of indifferent. It's whatever. I guess it was annoying going in for a lay-in, seeing a full white bar, and you miss it. But on 2K18, you don't have to worry about that. You good. Now, I do want to address the shooting because a lot of people had problems in NBA 2K17. Now, in NBA 2K18, I feel like the shooting wasn't as easy as NBA 2K17, but at the same time, it was very rewarding. So I didn't see a lot of green releases. I saw a few. I saw a good amount, but not a lot. But if I was wide open with a good shooter and it was a full meter, the shot went in. Like, we could call it full white bar, it was still good. So I like that about the game. A few people on Twitter were asking me if you could still green from pretty deep. And yeah, I did green one with Steph Curry, but it's Steph Curry. We don't know how it will be with my players. Another thing about the shooting is the feedback system. I actually like the feedback system. Of course, it tells you good release, bad release, excellent, and stuff like that. But it will also tell you how heavily the shot was contested. It will say smothered, heavily contested, lightly contested, wide open. So you can't get mad anymore. The game is telling you what you're doing wrong, and I like that. So the last thing I want to talk about when it comes to shooting are the load up shots. And yes, there were a few times in NBA 2K18 where I caught the ball, I was standing still, and they still did a load up. You know, I'm not a fan of that. I think there is a time and place for a load up, but it's not in a catch and shoot situation. Like if I'm standing there shouldn't be a load up, period. Now don't get it twisted. It wasn't as frequent as 2K17, but it was still there, definitely still there. So, I mean, I don't know. I'm not a fan of the load ups. It just depends. Like I said, there is a time and place for them. But if I'm standing still, like I'm standing still in a perfect catch and shoot situation, I have time to catch the ball, take the one dribble and shoot. That's what I'm talking about. So we'll see, man. We'll see how that gets tweaked. Now, one thing that really got me excited was the branching. And the branching was so amazing. What it does is let the user be creative. So D-Man, what is branching? Give us a few examples. Well, most of you know what branching is by dribbling. On 2K17, you will do an ISO size up and then branch out of that for a quote unquote speed boost. That's basically what branching is, but on 2K18, it's on a whole new level. You can drive to the lane, and if your defender is riding you, you're not stuck in that animation. You can snatch it back, you can sidestep, and that's only the beginning. I was playing my boy LD2K, and he had the Lakers, he had Lonzo, and it's something as simple as he threw out a pump fake and instantly just used that first step explosion to get to the lane. It was so quick, it was so fluid, it was really good to see. And while I'm on the topic of branching, I might as well talk about the triple threat, because the triple threat on 2K18, look, I found out mid-game about the triple threat moves, right? In the very next game, I went to New York, Concrete Jungle where Melo is, and I got to work in the ISO. So let me break down the triple threat. So you're used to this in 2K. You get the ball, flick to the right to jab right, flick to the left to jab left. You know the deal. Now on NBA 2K18, you could chain them, bro. You could double tap to the right, you'll do a double jab, double tap to the left, double jab to the left, going back to the branching. Imagine this, because Melo was getting jiggy. You catch the ball in a triple threat situation, tap to the right, he jabs, and instantly spins out of that jab. Just like on 2K15, just like on NBA 2K11, except it's being elevated, it's better. So like I said, the branching in NBA 2K18 is amazing because you don't feel stuck in the animation because of the defense, and you can also get really creative. I can see it, man. If you get nice, if you get a true grip of the branching and the moves, man, you will be a walking bucket. You will be terrifying. Now, you know I have to show love to the bigs. In 2K18, just from what I played, the big men got a lot of love. They really did. And I'll break it down. So now there is a new rebounding system, and it's way better than NBA 2K17. NBA 2K17, the rebounding, it just felt too random. I mean, yeah, if you got position, you were pretty good for the most part, but it still had those moments where it's just like, what? You know what I'm saying? Like, how? But on NBA 2K18, there is a fight for the rebound, and it just makes more sense. If you have position, you'll get the board. If you have a better rebounder, you will get the board. Like I said, I had the Dwight Howard, I had the DeMarcus Cousins, and they were going ham. And speaking of the Dwight Howard and DeMarcus Cousins, man, I have to talk about the post game. On NBA 2K17, the post game is okay. It's weird because it could be overpowered, but at the same time, it can be completely shut down because somebody can just run into you, steal spam on you, and your post scorer will lose the ball. Now, I'm happy to say that on NBA 2K18, in the build we played, it felt like height and weight mattered in that paint. I was doing a lot of work with DeMarcus Cousins and Dwight Howard simply because they overpowered people. They were stronger than people. And if you don't have the right matchup for that type of post game, your center's going to be out of there. I was playing Annoying, who had the Rockets, and I went ahead and picked up the Pelicans. So if you look at the matchup, that's Ryan Anderson and Capella matching up on DeMarcus Cousins and Anthony Davis, and they couldn't do a damn thing. DeMarcus Cousins felt like a freight train. LeBron, freight train. When I use Zebo, that's a big boy. It mattered. I'm telling you, it felt like it mattered. And like I said, when you're in the post, I feel like you have more control. there was a few times where Annoying could have knocked the ball loose, or he tried to, and he didn't. You know, you held on to the ball in the post, and the animations were better in the post. On NBA 2K17, sometimes you'll try to do a post move, and your opponent jumps at you, and that makes you stumble. I didn't see any of that, so I'm taking that as a good sign. If you have somebody in the air, it's over with. They're not double jumping on NBA 2K18. You're not going to bump into them. Basically what I'm saying is do your post move and go. But be careful, because on Pro-Am and NBA 2K17, everybody that has a post score just post fade and they think they're cold. You might be out of there, fam. NBA 2K18, the post fades can be contested and you will brick. I'm just throwing that out there. So once again, just like triple threat and shot creators, if you're in the post, you have to be creative too. You have to fire off the right move. So yeah, playing as a big in NBA 2K18, it made sense. It was fun. I had the most fun playing in a post, playing on the block. Now, if height and weight matters, that means speed has to matter too, right? I feel like it really does. I feel like they have the speed threshold, I wouldn't say just right, but it's pretty good. Like I said, I was trying out a lot of people, and I went to the Sacramento Kings, and you know what time it was. I had to get my boy De'Aaron Fox and see what that speed was looking like, and he can blow by people. Like, I passed it to him on a fast break, and even though my opponent had people back, Fox was way too quick on 2K18, way too quick, in a good way. You know, that's the way it should be. Another person like that is Russell Westbrook. If you take what I said earlier with the triple threat, the branching out, and use that first step, Russell too quick. Speed, height, weight. To me, I feel like it mattered in NBA 2K18. You can take advantage of mismatches, and that's all I want to do, man. That's all I want to do on 2K, because sometimes people get bailed. You know, that's what 2K is on 2K17, bailouts. But on 2K18, it's all about taking advantage of the mismatch, and that's pretty much what I did. That's just me. Now, I know a lot of people want to know about dribbling. I'm not a dribbler, man. You all know that, but I will break it down to you the best I can. Now, is it like 2K17? I wouldn't say that. Some of the moves are the same. You can see that. But the game feels different. It moves different. So yeah, it'll take a while to get used to, but you know how dribblers are. Like, after a while, you will find something. I feel like a lot of people are just tripping for nothing. Like, you're gonna find what you want on 2K18. It's like that on every 2K. The one thing that stuck out to me was stamina. You have about 4 good crosses maybe until that bar is blinking red. You have to be careful. One thing I want to point out is a new control. If you tap L2, you will actually be able to do a cross. Or for the Xbox people, LT. You'll be able to do a cross. Tap it twice, double cross. Now, you just can't spam the L2 or LT button. You can't spam it. But I mean, it's something different. I really don't see the point of it. But I don't know. You still hold L2 to go into the post. But if you're on the guard and you tap L2, you'll do a cross. Other than that, I mean, chaining the dribbles are different. But I mean, timing for the dribbling is always different every 2K. So you all will find out what you need to do. Trust. A lot of people are going crazy over the dribbling. You'll be fine. I promise you. Also, another heads up for everybody. The hop step gather is back to NBA 2K15. If you do that gather, you can't dribble. You'll pick the ball up. You'll have to shoot. And that's even if you can get it off. If you do it at the wrong moment, the ball will come loose because you're throwing the ball off your opponent's leg. So you got to really pay attention to what you're doing with the hop step. And when you do it, make sure you want to shoot, or just don't be random with it. You know, don't always go to the left or to the right. Don't forget, you can move it backwards or hop step another way. You know, you just have to pay attention to what you're really doing. I just wanted to throw that out there. I want to go over a few more controls. We know about the L2 to do a crossover. You can also hold circle to take control of somebody else on the court. And that was actually useful because you can do a bunch of things by yourself. Manual cuts, bring somebody to the top of the key and then call for the pick and roll. If somebody's in your way, hold circle, move them out the way. Little things like that. So the whole circle is actually something I appreciate. But I mean, that's something for the Play Now Online and the My Team people. Another thing for the Play Now Online and the My Team people, I was so happy. It was one of the first things I checked, but the HUD, the substitution menus, they went back to the buttons. They're simple again. You can actually use them on the fly. So if you want to make a sub, switch to a zone, call a play, it's easy. It takes a few seconds, man. They went back to the simpler times, man. We just need the buttons. I did not like the on-the-fly menu on 2K17, but we don't have to worry about that anymore. 2K18, it's way better. Trust me. Also, just diving back into the controls, alley-oops, still the same. Actually, for the most part, a lot of the controls are actually the same, so you won't have to adjust. You won't be thrown off. So fake passing, that's the same. Post moves, dribbling, and stuff like that, those are the same. So let's go ahead and talk about the passing. And really on 2K18, I couldn't really adjust to the passing. I know we played 2K18 all day, and I still needed more time with it. You know, with the passing, it is pressure sensitive. And a new button that it kept flying over my head. I kept forgetting about it, but you can hold the X button for a skip pass. And that's really good because, you know, on 2K, sometimes you just got to swing the ball across court. And I like that if you do hold the X button for that skill pass, it will be a bullet. It will be quick. It won't be a floaty. Overall, the passing made more sense. I did some icon passing. I did some directional passing. It just made more sense. Now, there were moments where I felt like the lead passing, it was way too dominant. Like, it would drag my player across the paint, and I didn't like that. But I don't know if that was because I did something wrong. Like I said, I need more time with 2K18. But just know that that was an issue for me. You know, the lead passing was kind of OD at times, but it might have been me. It might have been the game. I need to check up on that. But overall, passing, it was okay. You know, I didn't have a moment where I tried to pass to somebody else and the ball went to the other side of the court. For the most part, the logic, it made sense. And that's all I really want from the passing. Now, one thing I do want to talk about is the pick and roll game. There is a new pick and roll system. And I just want to, I don't know, I need to break it down because the pick and roll system, for me, it mainly came from the defensive end. But this is an offensive video. Just know that I did not see one brick wall. You know, to set a screen on here, you actually have to run up, stop, get in position like it's an actual screen. And I'm glad that I didn't see not one brick wall, because on 2K17, it was OP. I'm sorry, it didn't make sense. Same with the ankle breakers. I didn't see anybody hit the floor on 2K18. Which is good, because I tried snatch back and I tried all that stuff. It didn't work. You know, that was one of my things going into 2K18. And I'm glad that I didn't see a brick wall. I'm glad that I didn't see an ankle breaker. They're in the game, but they're not as frequent. Man, video is getting kind of long, and it's only offense. I'm gonna hit a few more points, and then I'm gonna let you go. If you're still watching, it's 18 minutes in. Golly. So, ball tangibility, I don't know. There were moments where I feel like the ball should have came loose. And then there were moments where the ball came loose and it's just like, yo, how did that happen? But it wasn't frequent though. That's the thing. It wasn't enough to frustrate me like on NBA 2K17. That's all I'm saying. Court spacing. The court and the players seem about the same. And I don't know. I really don't know. Because when I saw the court, I'm just thinking of Pro-Am. And I'm thinking the game is going to play the same, man. When it comes to, it's not going to play the same, but when it comes to the sharpshooter standing hash, I feel like that's still going to be a thing. Now, I don't think 5 out is going to be as effective because you're not going to have glass cleaners and athletic finishers shooting like that. But sharpshooters at the hash, I feel like that's going to be back. And I really don't like that style of play. Like I said, when I played NBA 2K11 and when I watched my old NBA 2K11 footage, the court was so big. Even with the 7-foot hacks, the court was big. And so we'll see. Like I said, I just need more time with NBA 2K18. And so we'll see. I mean, I did run with a few teams with small players. I ran with the Milwaukee Bucks, and boy, they shrunk that court because everybody on that team is a demigod. The Bucks were actually a good team to use, man. They put you in a box. The final thing I want to talk about, I mean, it goes back to the speed of the game. Sometimes the game is fluid, it's smooth, and other times you're moving in slow motion. And I just mean that on the lay-ins, the dunks, the euros, the hop step. You know what I mean. You know what I'm talking about. I still feel like you move too slow on some of those things, but at the same time, on 2K18, they didn't chase you down. Like, I didn't see a chase down block at all. I saw some good blocks, but not like that chase down block. So maybe that won't be a big problem like NBA 2K17, because on 2K17, you moved in slow motion while everybody else ran at normal speed, hawking you down on the fast break. But I didn't see much of that in 2K18. So that's a lot. And the crazy thing is, I probably still left a few things out. You can tweet me, man, at DManUNT2014. Mentions are popping. Ask me questions. Man, I have defense coming up. I also want to talk about a few other things like the AI. I want to talk about just the overall pros and cons. It might be 4 or 5 videos, so we'll see. Overall, 2K18 was good to me. I enjoyed it. It played different. It's more logical. It made sense to me. In the build that we played, it made sense. So I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it a lot. So I have more videos dropping soon. Be sure to drop a like if you want to see more. Subscribe if you're new. 2K18, man. Look, never mind. Y'all be easy. Peace.